So, after travelling for 8 hours, I finally arrived in Norway, but I had an 8-hour bus ride ahead of me. I think I got exactly 20 minutes of sleep on this bus. The next morning I was shown to my room. It's double the size of the one that I have back home and costs half as much. And the day after that, we went on a short hike up a small mountain actually. It's just basically next to Volda, so it's nice. And I was still waiting for my film to arrive because I ordered it online. So I just took my digital camera with me. Man, I don't think any of these photos are anything special. I like this one, mainly because I like the way the town respects the topography. It really feels like a postcard photo, so it's not so special to me. I had to meet with the police. This was about an hour away from Volda, in a little city called Ålesund. While I was there, I might as well go see some classic tourist stuff of Ålesund. So this is a very famous and popular spot, great for postcards. Anyway, I had a short look around. I didn't really know what to do, so I hopped on the bus and I went home to chill. The next day I had to go to class, so I went to uni. After uni, we went to the lake to chill with some bevs. This is the only shot I got. I really like how moody this shot is. It really is my vibe. The next day I went for a hike up the toughest mountain in Volda. It was a lot of fun with chains and ladders, and it's a little bit difficult to get up to the top. All the photos I got here were mid at best. We then had a barbecue at the end of the day, and this was the view. I think it's pretty nice. And I decided it could be fun to ride the ferry across the fjord as it's free. The conditions were perfect, and I think all of these shots are keepers. I especially like the colours in this one. Today I had uni and got an assignment to make a short video about myself. We heard there was a chance that the northern lights would be visible, so we stuck around after shooting this shot. This was the first picture I got of the northern lights. The image is pretty soft due to not using a self-timer, but I think it's a really unique image as it has the sun setting and the northern lights. It was an experience that I can now take off the bucket list, photographing the northern lights. It felt like one of those memories that you hold on to for the rest of your life. Out of all the ones I took, this one was my favorite. The stars are pretty blurry as the earth moves too fast for an exposure this long. If you're planning on photographing the northern lights, I really recommend using no filter on your lens. I had a filter on my lens and it left these Newton rings. There's some really interesting physics behind it, but honestly I'm not smart enough to even explain it. My brain barely understands it. Here's the basement of the building I stayed in. It kind of looks like the back rooms. This would be the first overnight trip I was to do in my time in Norway. A short hike to a cabin where we stayed for 2 nights. I took some photos on the way up. These aren't really anything special in my mind. The next morning, we woke up at 6 AM to see the sunrise. As the sun rose higher, it lit up the highest peaks first, and the view was amazing. Although it was -6 in September, I left my gloves at home. My hands got a little bit frozen this morning. Cinestill 40D really is a nice roll of film to use. These were some of my favorite pictures on film that I got from the whole trip. Shooting a 6x9 is really great as you get a lot of detail in the images. You can really punch into the image digitally and retain a lot of detail. The next morning, fueled by coffee, we headed back down the mountain and back to Volda. I think these 3 are keepers. I'm really proud of them. The others are pretty mid, to be honest, but this one in particular is my favorite. The next morning I didn't take any photos as I only brought 1 roll of film and 6x9 only shoots 8 pictures per roll. I did however get some video of the sunrise. The next trip was a little recce to an island called Runda. The island is really cool with this really harsh terrain. Feels like Death Stranding. We went here on an assignment with class. It was a really cool experience and I would later come back here to film a short advert here. Anyway, here are some pictures I made with my XH1. After getting home to the warm, I wanted to have a few rainy days at home just chilling with this spectacular view.
Not up there, then they came back to camp there.
Organised a picnic to a spot I'd found sometime before. We sat up here and watched the sunset while listening to some nice tunes. This is also a favourite of mine. Oh man, this is just depressing. Man, I heard so much good stuff about slide film and I wanted to try Velvia as I'd never used slide film before. And I heard that the colours were really vibrant and that's something which I really wanted to try with Norway with these beautiful sunsets. So I waited for some really nice sunsets and went to some locations with my camera to capture them. The roll got destroyed in transit and was blank. But here's the process anyway. Oh yeah, and I had this fancy technique for a long exposure. There's no bulb mode on the GSW690, so I used a hat and the T mode. It actually worked really well. I went to this beach to shoot a surfing video. Really beautiful beach.
So we've got a big group of people surfing, and that's Ivan, and he's got the camera. Rahal's attempting to surf.
Here's what some of the footage looked like. It's a little bit cringe, but you know what? It's still really cool at the same time. Oh, and here's more shots that you'll never see from my Velvia. I really like the composition of this shot too, but, well, you'll never see the result, so you'll just see the process instead. And here are some more behind the scenes. When the sun goes down in Fleur, you get a really spectacular sunset. Here are some more photos. The next day I wanted to shoot a spot that I found a while ago. I was waiting for the right conditions and the right sun, not knowing how long the weather would stay good, so I went to take the shot. On Velvia. We will never know how I handled this shot, but I was quite annoyed. As I really enjoy the clouds in my photos, I feel like they had a lot of depth to the photos, but man, just another photo we'll never see. Next trip of mine was back to Runda, the famous bird island. We were shooting a video basically for a client. Here are some of the clips. And here are some of the behind the scenes. If you want to watch the full video, I'll put a little card up there. If you ever want to visit Norway, you can do it while only using public transport, and the public transport is pretty good.
Really, you would,
But
yeah.
by far the best way to see this country is by car. A lot of the country is connected by ferries, and they do cost about €5 each way. It's not cheap, but no one ever claimed that Norway was cheap. This was our Airbnb that we stayed in. Really nice and spacious place to stay. This shot for me was killer. Sure, it's digital, but every photo I got while here I think was a banger. Man, I just love this shot. For me, it felt like I had finally hit my mark, finally creating the fusion of Simon Steinhag and Gregory Crewdson. This is what I aim for in my photography. Later that night, we had some bevs and chilled in the sauna and the hot tub. As we looked up into the sky, we saw northern lights. This was becoming a common occurrence. Next day rolled around and it was getting pretty chilly. Naturally, we decided to go kayaking. So I dusted off the drone and got some shots as we took turns going kayaking. Oh, I have no footage to go along with these shots, so just enjoy a little slideshow. It's just Boulder. This picture is my favorite, and I think this one's still usable. The rest are all pretty blurry.
What is this Instagram bullshit anyway? Why is everyone on it?
Chris, stop complaining!
This is very constant.
Hello, Dominica.
The first snow came, considering I only get snow once every 3 years or so. I was pretty excited, and that's a bit of an understatement.
He's got like an internal monologue. The snow's lit.
As night fell, we got this really cool snowstorm. So of course I had to go out and photograph. I think these were all real bangers, man. I really implemented people in my shots, and it's a little bit like back at the Airbnb in Haroya where we went kayaking earlier. I bought a roll of Lomo Purple to try, and in the snow, well, when else was I going to use it now? I thought it'd be fun to try it in a scenario that's not so common. Also, in 6x9 is going to be crazy. To be honest, I wished I just bought a more normal color film.
Yeah, maybe
What you got here? What is this?
this is a good center bag.
Sounds like
Look
cans.
inside.
Yeah, let's have a look. Empty beer cans. We're gonna get paid today. When I say we, I mean you're gonna get paid.
Oh, mine. I'm so proud though.
So in Norway they have this pant system. When you return the bottle or can to the store, you get a refund of about 10 cents a can. This was Leo's collection after one semester of drinking.
And 176. Okay, so you're like at 25.
We then set up a little goodbye barbecue as Leo was leaving for the holidays. Man, I really wish I came here sometime with my 6x9. This bus stop would have made a really nice photo with the mountains in the background. We went skiing, and I'd never gone skiing or snowboarding before, so we found this mild slope. Good place to learn. Norway is really awesome as you could rent outdoor equipment including skis and snowboards for free. I also got some more pictures with the Lomo Purple. Not too happy with these. And of course I had to get some drone footage. This is really cool and not something that I'd see back home. This is one of my favorite series of photographs that I got. I think this photo is very mid. It would have been better with a longer lens. The way the light hit the mountain was really beautiful in person, but it's just too overexposed in this image. This is one of my favorite series of photographs that I got. I think this photo is very mid. It would have been better with a longer lens. The way the light hit the mountain was really beautiful in person, but it's just too overexposed in this image. I really like this image. Normally I like a little more foreground in these sorts of images, but the way the mountain shoots from the fjord is really cool and unique to Norway. I don't know where else you want to be in life if you've got this view. And then walking along here, you got this mountain that towers over everything. It's really crazy, bro. I like the foreground in this image, but the mountain is too overexposed and it doesn't really evoke an emotion from me. This is where we flew our drone for the first time, actually. Just make sure I don't sink in the snow. We got ice all around here and this most beautiful, spectacular mountain range over here. This ridge is super cool. This one in the middle. It looks way more impressive in person. Let's see if I can make it look like real life. This is sort of how it looks in real life. These are just tourist pictures, not really anything special. This has to be in my top 5 pictures. I love the way the road leads your eyes to the first house and later that mountain. Well, this marks the end of my Norwegian adventure. I got a few more pictures here in Sabo, but after leaving Sabo we spent 8 hours on a coach to Oslo, where I went on to spend Christmas. In Oslo I didn't really get any pictures, just spent the time relaxing and enjoying the moments I had. Will I keep the 6x9? Well, I'm gonna have a whole dedicated video for that soon, so hit the subscribe button if you want to know what I think of that camera. Anyway, cheers for watching, take care, and see you later, guys. This mixer would never work, and it's made in the UK.